everybody, welcome to the second episode of our very own show, The Spotlight, and this is Mamta. Today we have a very special guest among us. He is a very musical person. So let's welcome Bishal Timalsina. Hi Bishal Dai.
Hello.
What up Bishal Dai?
What up, man? How's it going?
It's going great. I think it's going great. So how do you feel being here?
I feel honored, and I feel happy, and I feel excited, and I feel. I want to say nervous because it is cliche, but I'm not feeling nervous because it's the montage, because I feel in the zone.
Okay, thank you so much. I would take that as a compliment, but
okay.
I see changes in you, and I see drastic changes in you. That is really heartbreaking for me.
So, what kind of changes are you talking about? Because as a person, because I don't see what changes are in me, and I see myself because I'm always myself, right?
Yes.
And so, would you like pointing out the changes?
Yeah, I would like to point out because you have covered your head.
My head?
Yes.
What's wrong with my head?
You've covered your head, and the Bishal I used to know has transformed into something very out of the blue because I don't see your hair. I see a cap in your head, and that's the question.
Well, the hair, I think it's sort of wove itself into this cap, and it's black, right? No, it's not black. Okay, it turned grey. I have white hair too, so yeah.
Okay, fine. So I would like to ask you some couple of questions, and don't worry, they won't be very, very hard. They would be very, very easy. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me on that.
Okay.
Okay. So I would like to ask you, how did you get into Dear Walk?
How did I get into Dear Walk?
Yeah.
Dear Walk is something that I never planned to be, because when I passed college, my +2, I thought I was gonna be an engineer or something. I wanted to be an architect, but then came along this guy called Kinar. I don't know if you know him, and he was like, "There's a cool college there. There's a cool college called Dear Walk, and they talk about making apps and all, and you get a job for free and all those talks." And I came here, and something happened in that talk, something that happens to everybody.
Influensive talk.
Yeah, influensive talk. Yeah. And I attended an open house session, and I was in the, I was hypnotized, and admission, handshake. I'm in the college.
So that's what happens with everybody. So basically, summing up, peer pressure and influensive talk brought you in Dear Walk, right?
Yeah.
So how is the experience?
Okay, so the Dear Walk experience, as much as it is looked down upon by most people, I think that it is completely worth it. Like, there are so many things that I would have never known if I had not come into Dear Walk, and so many parts of myself, like areas of myself, right?
Yeah,
so I discovered myself, I must say. Yeah, that's why I think
discovered yourself.
Yeah.
But for me, I am wondering, how did you discover yourself? Because I think you are a very musical person, and you came into an IT field. So how does it connect? IT and music.
Yeah.
Will I be seeing Bishal Dada like hacking into DJ or something?
No. So everything just like it just fit, because I joined here, and I heard that there was a club called Music Club, and then I saw the list of clubs, and there was all this club like book club and all club, and then I saw Music Club. I marked that in my head, and then I saw hiking club. So I wanted to join two of those clubs, and of course the first priority was Music Club, and so. I talked to Anmol Dai. He was the kind of like, he's always the public person. He's a very good talker, I think. And I met him, and I talked with him, and there was like a click, with the members.
Something that fits.
Yeah, something that fits, yeah. So Sushant Dai, Anmol Dai, Umang Dai, and Sarun Didi. That was the first music club that I was introduced to. And it was just so great. Like, we are still as close right now as we were back then. So that meeting of those five people, that was that led to the discovery of me right now. That's the discovery.
Okay, that's what we thought as well, because music club is the hottest happening club in DWIT, I guess. And actually, I've seen the introductory video of music club, and you were a very active member. You know,
Yes.
I know what you used to do.
I used
know
to
what
play,
you
I used to
used to-
riff on the violin. That
Yeah, and also when Ananda used to say, Bishal, mail lake. You used to do the mail stuff, right?
I knew that had to be done, so I just.
Okay, so from that point to a president, how was your journey on that?
It was quite interesting because even as a member, I was a member once and I was a vice president once. So
Eventually, the president once.
yeah, president once. I still feel like I'm the president.
You are the president. We always think you are the president.
But
because-
what I'm trying to say is that the transition you were asking me about
Yeah.
the transition, and actually the transition was quite a lot surprising because it was a lot different from what I had expected. Because to me, music club was sort of a big thing. Like I did not take it for granted in a way, and I even attended as a vice president, and I was so much dedicated to it. I must say, I'm not trying to brag myself out, but I'm saying that I had a feel for it and I gave my everything to it, and I helped on Moldai and all. But when I became the president, I found it quite difficult, and to be honest, I found it quite alone sometimes. Like
That's why we have Alone as the president.
that's next level joke. Well, I did not mean that, but yeah. It was a new experience and certainly a lifelong life lesson.
Life lesson, life learning, something
Yeah.
that DWIT taught you.
Yeah. that
Yeah,
is
I can see it in your eyes, the passion of music, the Bishal Timalsina I always see, you know. It's just reflecting in your eyes.
I don't
Okay,
know.
so
I,
let's-
I think it has been sort of a cliche because like everybody thinks that Bishal music, but
Yeah, Bishal equals to music in DWIT actually, because
Yeah.
the day I actually, yeah.
I think of scenarios where that might not be a good thing for my image, but
Why do
I
you
think
think
I'm
so?
happy.
It wouldn't be a good image because
I think so because because there are some times that no, I think it is always good for my image because I'm always listening to something. I think what I was trying to say is that there are some moods that I would not like to be known by that, but in order to complement for that mood, I would be
I
listening
have
to some
be
music. Yeah,
So basically, music equals to Bishal, and Bishal equals to music. Okay, let's go out of the music now. So, how would you? No, let's come back to music. How would you relate your name with music? Because Bishal means huge, and music is also huge. It's happening. It's hottest.
Yeah. I've actually thought a lot about that because as an artist, you want to have a good name, right?
name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
good
get
name,
me?
catchy name,
Yeah,
so
catchy
that-
name. Yeah. And from my experience, I don't think Vishal is that catchy, so I've gone with BT.
Yeah.
That was my first go-to name, but I found out that there was another artist already with the same name, BT, and I sort of went like, and in the middle, somewhere between that, I sort of stopped making any music. So, and then later on, currently the name that I'm thinking for myself is My Headbands.
My headbands.
My headbands, not banks,
Okay.
but bands. It was inspired by my headbands, literally.
Okay, but you have cut your hair, so how does it fit now?
Yeah, I don't know that. It does not. I don't know how it fits now, but yeah, I don't think that Vishal connects to me musically in any sense. But yeah, I just gave you extra information.
Yeah, that's fine. But I personally would love to see only Bishal. You know, it's like using your name itself. It's unique to do something in something that inspires you.
Okay, so I might as well consider
Please
that.
mark my words, and if you do, and I know you'll be famous someday. So, and please address me also. I would be glad. Okay, so I would like to move towards your childhood right now.
Childhood.
So, how naughty were you as a kid?
My childhood is not like it was not like something special or something. I told you before, I discovered myself when I came to Deer
Yeah.
Rock. Before Deer Rock, I was not this guy. I was a completely different guy. I was very shy and I was very quiet, and I had a few groups of people that I used to connect to, and beside those, I was literally not known to anybody. So I have a few childhood friends and not that. So
You had बिछरिएको childhood friends as well? बिछरिएको childhood friends, बच्चा बेलाको
childhood friends. I don't know, but I do have one childhood friend that sort of did not know me at all when I was a child and knows me now.
You guys are best friends. Imaginary best friends that were best friends since like 10 years, I guess.
But did not know each other.
Yeah. That was quite interesting. Okay, so one favorite childhood memory.
Favorite childhood memory? I knew that this was gonna be the most hardest question for me because I don't know any.
That would be a memory. Don't remembering any memory of yours is a which memory, I guess.
Childhood memory. Okay, let's go. You know the guitar, right?
Guitar? I know guitar.
Yeah, my guitar that's always lying around in this college. Yeah. Have you seen its neck?
Okay, I am zero in guitar knowledge.
Okay. It's the part where you do all that tuning and stuff.
Okay. I saw that.
And so what I'm trying to say is that my childhood memory that I want to share is the feeling I got when that broke.
How come that is the favorite childhood memory? I wonder how that becomes the favorite. That's the worst childhood memory anyone can have.
I missed the word favorite, so let me think again. Best childhood memory.
It's okay if you don't want to remember anything. I'm sure you had a very awesome childhood because. Yeah. Okay, so. I am done with the very interesting questions for you. Now I have more interesting questions for you, and this is the rapid fire round.
Yes.
And I hope that you give me instant answers because that would be more fun, the rapid fire round.
Makes sense.
Rapid fire, yeah. So, are you ready for it? It can be anything.
1, 2.
It can be anything. I'm warning you. It can be anything.
I'm ready. Just go with the countdown.
Okay. Who is your favorite admin member? Hitesh sir, Vidya sir, or Ritu sir?
Ritu sir.
Okay. Shaving head or shaving your eyebrows?
You see, I've seen this, so
Okay.
It's obviously shaving head.
Okay, so hook up, kill, and marry, and your options are Abhishek Dai, Prayesh Dai, and Alun.
Hook up, kill, or marry?
Kill and marry.
Hook up, kill,
Kill
and
or marry. Hook up, kill, or marry.
So
like you have either you have to hook up with one, kill one, and marry one. So your options are Abhishek Dai, Prayesh Dai, and Alun.
Hook up Alun, kill Abhishek, and marry Prayesh.
Oh my god. I want to Abhishek Dai. Okay, so let's imagine you're very lucky and we have Prayesh Dai right besides you. What would be your pickup line?
Pickup line?
Yeah.
Side chick bitch के पनि मलाई बाल हो तिमी भइहाल्यो नि.
I'm sure he's probably watching and laughing.
That's his own line, so probably he's
I know. If you would have non-veg, what would you start with?
Oh no! If I had non-veg, I'd probably start with KFC because I've heard a lot about this.
KFC, okay. Selling your guitar or selling your cycle?
Oh man! Selling my guitar because I have like 3 of them, so. Okay. You get to do that, I also get to do that.
Okay. I don't mind on that. Okay, so this is based on your music. Not your music, but music. So Justin Bieber or One Direction?
I go with, well, I've gone past, let's say Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber. So you like baby, 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 oh.
That's the one album that he had made That
Yeah,
was
I know,
worse.
I know.
Now it's better. So
Okay, fine.
yeah.
He's a lot more better.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hitesh sir dancing or Vijay sir singing?
Probably this are dancing.
Why? Vijay sir's zag is something you don't adore.
Well, I have listened to that a lot, and the other one is not that frequent. So
Okay, so you would like to see him dance.
yeah.
Okay. So this may okay. List 4 people you think who are the admin of Troll Your Walk.
For people who think Sarah, right?
Yeah.
And Prima Tamang, obviously Khadira, and last but not the least would be
Chhota packet pada dhamaka somebody. Jalla, rapid fire round. Come on.
Bryce, I cannot think of anybody else.
I have heard a lot about this thing, okay, from my friend, and this is your Nana dance. I would like to see your Nana dance.
Nana dance. Na 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 na. I'm not actually good. It's supposed to be wavy, but
But what, you gained a lot of weight, so you can go wavy right now?
I am not connected, so this hand is different, this hand is different. Rapid fire.
Okay, so what comes to your mind when you hear the following words? I'm gonna say the words, so you have to say what comes into your mind. The word psycho.
Psycho.
Yeah.
The movie, the Psycho movie.
Rainbow.
Rainbow. Unicorns farting rainbow. That's a thing.
Unicorn farting rainbows?
Yeah. They
Wow,
go
your
and
imagination.
they go
I
and
salute your imagination.
they go and the rainbow just comes behind. That's how rainbows are made, mind you.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I didn't have the knowledge of that. Projector.
Projector. Opening the projector that.
Doing with the
yeah,
pen.
pen, yeah.
Yeah. Bumfuzzle.
Nothing, because I don't know what that means.
Microwave.
Microwave, baking cakes.
YOLO.
YOLO. I think of a teenage guy who is wearing that cap and YOLO sort of thing.
Okay, heels.
Heels. I think of the Devils in Prada book cover. It has heels on it. I just saw it on this Amazon store yesterday, so that's what.
You're one guy that doesn't picture girl when one says heel, I guess.
Because I had seen that yesterday, the album, the book cover.
Okay, that would be justifying, I guess.
Okay.
Random.
Random access memory.
Wow. Nice. Beer.
Beer. Beer would be Abhishek.
What is that?
Because he's the only person that who shares his beer with me, and I apparently finished it. Yeah, buddy.
So is this game too boring?
What?
Is this game too boring?
No.
Thank you for saying that. So apart from 2018, which is your closest batch?
Apart from 2018,
Yeah.
I would say 16.
16?
No.
You're probably thinking, okay, I've missed someone. If I say 16, 17 will kill me, but
Yeah.
if I say 17,
Yeah.
20 will kill me more.
I wish I could just pick up one people from 16, one people from 17, and a lot of guys from 20 to 20.
Yay! Okay, so that's it for the rapid fire round.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your answers.
Sorry, it was not so rapid.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So, wrapping up, I have 2 questions for you. Not much.
Okay.
Okay, so what is your advice to your What is your advice to your president right now?
My advice to the president is
Don't be alone. Don't be alone.
don't be alone. Yeah, I'll always try my best to be there, and I'd like to say that you have to learn to manage the people and how to get them interested in the club in order to make the club work. The club will get as better as we work hard on it. So
That's a really nice advice, and we hope to see you in Music Club because Music Club equals to Bishal equals to Music Club, and we always want you to be there.
I also want to be there.
Yes, we want you to be there. So, last but not the least, where do you see yourself in 3 years?
3 years. Okay, so my dream would be something like Uh, I have gained somewhat programming knowledge enough to sustain, uh, enough to get some money. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to go with fancy words, and I want to use that money in order to develop my own musical side. Learn stuff, buy stuff that I need.
Yes, that's really nice, connecting your career and connecting your passion.
Yeah.
The passion I see in your eyes. Yes, so thank you. That's all for this session. Thank you so much.
Thank
I really
you.
enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Yes, it was great to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for being there. Yes, thank you. So with that, we've come to the end of the second episode of the Spotlight. Stay tuned because we will be having more interesting person. And Bishal, what do we do next? We like, we share, and we subscribe to the channel because we're gonna have more